Now for what's trending in true crime, prosecutors plan to seek the death penalty for the man accused of killing 4 family members. And we also found out about how these victims were killed. Defendant Austin Drummond appearing via Zoom for his arraignment Thursday, where he pleaded not guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder. In reading the charges, the judge revealed the victims were shot to death. Let's take a listen to the prosecutor.
Your Honor, at this time, the state intends to seek the death penalty. This is a capital case. We're asking that he be held without bond. In addition to that, he has a bond out of circuit court. We have filed motions to revoke those bonds. That will be heard later in the month of August in circuit court.
The bodies of 20-year-old Adriana Williams, 21-year-old James Wilson, they were the parents of the baby, and 38-year-old Courtney Rose, the grandma, and 15-year-old Braden Williams were found in a wooded area in Lake County, Tennessee. The baby, thankfully found safe but abandoned in a car seat 45 minutes away on the front lawn of some random home. So this morning, we're asking, what disturbs you the most about this case and about this defendant? Hit us up on social media with your answers. Let's bring back in our legal eagles, attorneys David Bruno and Ben Chu on the program. I want to ask you both the same question. What disturbs you the most about this case? David, would you start us off, please?
Well, just at that bond hearing, when asked whether or not he has a career, he was talking about blowing up balloons at child's birthday parties and festivities. That's number one. Because it's not just this allegation. He was just recently released from prison, and he was out on bail on an attempted murder case in prison as well. He's got a criminal history that includes various different things like robbery, threats against jurors, and got this outstanding attempted murder. So not only did he kill these 4 people, he's got this history, and also he's around kids for his job. That's what concerns me, other than the allegations.
Yeah, it really is concerning. Preach, David. I appreciate all of that. Ben Chu, what disturbs you the most about this case and about this defendant, please?
I'm with David. I can't believe that he was let out on bond for an attempted murder charge. That really opened the door for these horrible crimes to occur.
It did, Ben. I'm with you and David on that. I was popping off about it when I heard about it. As soon as we played the clip after that press conference, it was earlier this week, my jaw was on the floor. I'm thinking, how in the world, like you both know, it is insane that somebody who's a member of the Vice Lords gang, who just did a stint, 10 years for the aggravated robbery and then more years for intimidating the jury after the fact, and intimidating one of the victims, and he picks up an attempted homicide case and he gets a bond, in a percentage bond at that. Like, I mean, this was a no-brainer. Anybody who was watching that hearing would have known, oh, he's going to be able to post that and get back out. David Bruno, do you think that there's any reflection? You know, when I was a prosecutor, it was always my biggest nightmare. I wonder if it was for you too, for somebody to get let out who shouldn't be out, and then they go commit a crime, and then somebody says, did the DA object? You know, where were they in all this? And what about that judge? What was he or she thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially on those facts. When there's an allegation in a prison, someone's serving substantial prison time, there's got to be a second guessing on that decision, whether it's the prosecutor or the judge. It's definitely an inflection, an instinct to ask those particular questions. And unfortunately, oftentimes that's why people are held against those arguments, because the judges and the prosecutors, they fear what type of additional harm that defendants can bring after being released from serious crimes. So it's instinct and natural to even have these questions, and I just wonder what the answers are. Yeah, most definitely. So many questions still unanswered. Of course, we know that. We now got a little more information about how this occurred. It was a shooting. We weren't quite sure up to this point how these victims were killed, and we know there was a relationship that existed previously. A family member of these victims
spoke out publicly on Facebook and said, we were just stunned at this. We knew Austin Drummond. He was never anything but great with us. This is really, really shocking. What maybe wasn't shocking was what the DA did yesterday, announcing he's going to pursue the death penalty. Ben Chu, would really love to get your thoughts on that swift decision from him.
It's not a surprise given the heinous acts and the fact that that he's left this little girl without a family, really, without her parents, without her grandfather, and without her uncle. I mean, it's really, if there's going to be a death penalty, this would seem to be a candidate.
Most definitely, that little baby. Ben, tapping into your civil expertise, do you think this is going to wind up in some kind of a legal fight with that baby, seeing that now she's orphaned and who might take care of her? I'm just envisioning a lot of headaches with that.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Julie. I think that child is going to need an enormous amount of help, and I hope that the family or another family can kind of step in and provide a life for her, because right now she's completely bereft.
It's so true. God bless that little baby. I want to turn to something now that happened in the hearing, and David Bruno, you mentioned this, and we've got the clip about this guy who knew he used to run a balloon business. Let's take a listen to that moment together now.
I'm not going to be able to hire.
Okay. Sir, if you could, to the best of your ability, please raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is true, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You can put your hand down, sir. Mr. Drummond, prior to being taken in on these charges, sir, were you working anywhere?
I have a business, federal run business, kids parties, also reptile shows, decorations, stuff like that.
So you were self-employed, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
The gangster at the kids' parties. There, you heard it there for yourself, what David was talking about moments ago. We still don't know of any motive here. If this guy did these crimes as the state of Tennessee says he did, we don't know why. We know, as I said, one of the victims is related to Drummond's girlfriend. Now, will we ever know the why? Gosh, that seems to be a big theme in so many cases we've been talking about lately. Brian Kohberger comes to mind. You know, will we ever know the why in this one? David Bruno, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I think we're going to learn more about this case than the Kohberger case on why, that's for sure. I still have problems with what happened over there in Idaho. But with that being said, prosecutors stood up and made an argument that this was a targeted murder, that he knew them through that family member and that he targeted them to do this particular thing. Not only that, but he abducted that infant, took her 45 minutes away from the family that was dead, and left that baby on a doorstep or in front of a house of just somebody that was completely unrelated. So many different questions as to why, and hopefully this prosecutor's office brings more answers on that question than the Kohberger prosecutor team.
Definitely, David. I sure hope so, too. Ben Chu, would you take us home, please, on this subject? Do you think we'll ever get the why behind these crimes?
I fear that we won't. I don't see him testifying, and it may end up like the Kohberger case. I certainly hope it won't. But I fear he has no incentive to let us know why he committed it.
Right. You know, and it makes me wonder, with this DA, I have a lot of faith in him, being that he was so swift. That first court date saying, we're going for the death penalty for this guy. I wonder if we're going to see a different prosecution here, just compared to Kohberger. That's top of mind, I think, for a lot of people, because we just saw it happen. We all were kind of living, you know, vicariously, our hearts breaking for those victims, and the fact that they didn't get any complete closure with all the answers. And so hopefully these victims' families can, and maybe that prosecutor will make him say something if he is the one who did this and if he were to decide to plead. We'll leave it here for now. We'll keep following the progression of Austin Drummond's case. Ben Chu, David Bruno, stand by, please. We're going to hit a break. When we come back, here's what's coming up on Opening Statements.
I just can't imagine, you know, the accuracy that that gun had in her hands. It just, I don't think it could happen. I just don't think physically she could do it.
Should Sarah Grace Patrick be out on bond? The teenager accused of murdering her parents is set to make her first court appearance soon. Plus, victim Mindy Casotis' parents take the stand in the dismembered wife murder trial. Will what they said tip the scales of justice for the jury?
Did there come a time when something occurred to make you believe that there was a change in their marriage condition?
Yes, when they actually were sort of hiding out because we were told they feared for their lives.
Who told you that?
Mindy and Nick.